August Koontz was an active athlete who died in his sleep at the age of 18 due to sudden cardiac arrest.
3 years later, his parents founded August Heart, an organization that offers free heart screenings to teenagers in San Antonio.
Eyewitness News reporter Jeremy Baker tells us about a life-saving event happening this Saturday in his honor.
I was with him the night before that he passed away.
August's mother, Doré, says her son was in perfect health.
Loved sports, played football, basketball, very, very active, worked out all the time, took very good care of himself.
August died from a condition known as hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which has been reported to occur in as many as 1 in 500 people. That's when the bottom chambers of the heart, or the ventricles, are too thick, making it harder for the heart to pump blood. If it is severe enough, the condition can cause heart failure, resulting in sudden death.
People always say something good comes out of everything bad, and you don't really understand that at the time, but this is a really great thing, and it really has saved a lot of lives.
One of those lives was Jake Stewart. He was entering high school at the time he was screened.
As it got toward the ends, the doctors kind of started treating me different, and I started getting a little nervous, and that's when they found out that I had WPW.
That stands for Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome.
They had it ablated. He was back on the field in 30 days. Went to Clark High School, exceeded as a quarterback, graduated, and now plays at Trinity.
This weekend, the screenings are being offered for teenagers ages 14 to 18. Each teenager should wear loose-fitting clothing. A parental waiver must be signed while registering. The screening includes an electrocardiogram and, if necessary, an echocardiogram. Each screening is free, but a $25 donation is optional to help offset the cost to screen each student.
The screenings take place this Saturday at the Student Center within the Blossom Athletic Center on Jones-Maltzberger Road. To sign up online, just go to augustheart.org. Jeremy Baker, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
And heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women. So everything you can do to help fight the disease is crucial, including raising awareness. And now you can get involved and honor those affected by it. KENS Cares kicks off the year with the annual Methodist Healthcare's Red Dress Run this weekend. Money raised at the event will be donated to the American Heart Association. The 5K run starts at 8 a.m. Saturday at Methodist Stone Oak Hospital on Sonterra Boulevard. You can find more information at sareddress.com.